Keep listening to 32 FM Ibadan Sham.
Good morning and welcome. It's a bright Wednesday morning, the 7th of May 2025. You're welcome to the Break It On Papers Review. This is your latter station, 32 FM 94.9. This morning, as always, we bring you the front page of the dailies, the papers, and later on the analysis, and then we take your reactions on the show. My name is DENIKE and thank you for joining me and for joining us this morning. We start off with the front page of the Punch newspaper, and our very first story, it's a major one: rising insecurity. NAS ex-generals demand urgent military rearmament. Away from that one, you find UCL. All right, that's on the sports side of things. Something about Barcelona. I'll just skip that now. Airfares in West Africa most expensive globally. ECOWAS laments. Lawyer laments hurdles securing very dark man's bail. Federal government kicks as Patutomi forms shadow government. Benue Zamfara assemblies reject reps summons. Senate to pass Tinubu's tax bills today. JAPA UK considers tighter visa rules for Nigerians, Pakistanis. Ganduje welcomes Edo Speaker, other PDP defectors to APC. 4.7 trillion naira debt, Genco's demand date to meet Tinubu. Defections, Okowa denies 500 billion naira refund as Obrewori visits Tinubu. Also, you find here, Oyo community shuns river over evil spirit, hail students well donation. Lawyer, all right, we've taken that one before. Kogi youths condemn killing of SS3 students by suspected herders. Says Bayelsa cult leader killed by gang members, police reveal. Also, 3 Nigerians elected into IFATCA, and PDP reconstitutes Edo Caretaker Committee. I don't need validation from political opportunist, Atiku replies Boala. 8 rep members defect to APC PDP. Group urges Tinubu AGF to stop Lagos local government chairman's 3rd term agenda. Ekiti ex-commissioner credits Fayoshe for political relevance, details sacrifices. PDP chieftain threatens Osun lawmakers recall over defection. And headlines out of the Vanguard reports: Atiku to BOT women, I am not leaving PDP. What Tinubu-Soludo alliance means for Anambra 2025 political landscape. Police nab young wife for alleged husband's murder in Kano. Insecurity. Nigerians will revolt if action not taken. That's according to the House of Representatives yesterday. Also, suspected Fulani militants kill 6 in Plateau communities. How notorious Bayelsa cult leader Wanemi was killed. Police commissioner. VDM not told why he's being detained, according to council. Landlord's son kills tenant in Ondo. Also, gunmen killed 12, abduct several residents in Zamfara. And also it says here, I'm not leaving PDP, but coalition will challenge APC. Atiku. No way Nigeria can be one-party state, Governor Sule. Also, you find ex-PDP. All right, that seems to have gone away. We'll look for another story. Alleged stealing of 3 Lexus cars. Court adjourns trial of 2 businessmen till July 28. 10 robbery suspects arrested in Niger. Stolen vehicle recovered. There's something about JAMB here. It says mass failure in JAMB shows anti-cheating measures are working, allows our education minister. Why we are overhauling NYSC, that's according to the federal government. And I'll just take one more story from the Vanguard and be on to another paper. It says EFCC traces laundered $300,000 to Yahoo Boy. And the Premium Times paper reports major story here says jumping ship. Nigeria's opposition parties face existential crisis. And also you find Senate constitutes committee to oversee Rivers sole administrator. NJC seeks public comments on 82 candidates shortlisted for judicial positions. EFCC charge these 5 ex-governors with corruption. And also, it says tax bills, Rivers crisis, insecurity, top agenda as NAS resumes after 6 weeks. Nigeria announces new policy to prioritize local manufacturing. Senate to hold national summit on insecurity. And Akpabio says here, we've not forgotten your hardships. Akpabio assures Nigerians. Senate constitutes committee to oversee Rivers sole administrator. Nigeria's defense minister in China for security deal. And Nigerian government inaugurates committee to reform NYSC. And we'll take a look at some more from the Premium Times. It says Ogun State government appoints Segun Odegbami as sports ambassador. And I move on to this day paper. Very first story says with $75 budget benchmark, concerns mount as oil price hovers around $60. NLNG may raise gas supply by 12% after deal with Seplat. Also, it says $400 million steel factory set to commence operation in Ogun. Shetima, lawful sharing of secure data will make Africa's economy thrive. Presidency faults Adesina's claim, says Nigerians better off than in 1960. Can senseless killings across Nigeria condemnable, and NUPRC pledges support as ExxonMobil commits to $1.5 billion deepwater investment. And the Daily Post reports APC will accommodate abandoned Kwakwanso to save his political career. And it says also ban on foreign goods import may lead to fuel order price hikes, according to Petron. Insecurity, Senate moves to convene National Summit. 2027 stakeholders express concern over eroding electoral integrity. It's time for the first commercial break of the morning. Be back shortly with the analysts to analyze some of these headlines. Do stay with us.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Kí ló ń sún ọpọ́n ìrẹsì jọ̀lọ́ọ̀fù lọ sípele ìgbádùn tó ga? Ṣé tí wọ́n bá sè é pẹ̀lú kóró náà fún adùn tó kà màmá yẹn ni? Tàbí tẹ́ ẹ bá jẹ́ pẹ̀lú ojúlówó sàláàdì Nàìjíríà, èso kábéèjì, kárọ̀tì, lẹ́tùsì, àtẹ̀wà oníkíndìnrín díẹ̀.
Ó ní láti jẹ́ méjèèjì. Ṣe jollof rice rẹ pẹ̀lú adùn kóró náà kí kí o wá jẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀fọ́. Ó yá, jẹ́ kí ọ̀pọ̀ oúnjẹ rẹ gbé pẹ́ẹ́lí. Lónìí, jẹun tó dáa.
Ó yàtọ̀ láti jẹ ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí kò sí lọ kábọ̀ nínú rẹ̀. Jẹ ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà pẹ̀lú Coco Box lórí ẹ̀rọ ìpè rẹ̀. Tẹ *347*253#. Tẹ̀síwájú láti san igba náírà sí àsùnwọ̀n Titan Pay Star. Ìdíje yìí kò tó fáwọn èèyàn méjì tí yóò máa jẹ ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà. Yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí àwọn ètò wa bíi Ìṣẹ́yá pẹ̀lú Adébáyọ̀ Tíámíyù Ọ̀tàsínẹ́ láago 9 àbọ̀ òwúrọ̀. Kọ́lá àwìn pẹ̀lú àǹtí Sùnbọ̀ láago 2 ọ̀sán. Kí láti ṣe pẹ̀lú Olúwayẹmísí láago 3 ọ̀sán. Ègé pẹ̀lú Sporting Crystal aago 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ àti WhatsApp Naija pẹ̀lú àfòdá bàbá àgbàlagbà láago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ báwọn èèyàn méjì yóò ṣe máa fa ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà mọ́ra gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìfà lórí àwọn ètò wa wọ̀nyí. Ẹ tún lè ta Coco Box lọ sójú òpó ayélujára wọn co-cocobox.com. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ta púpọ̀ ẹ máa jẹ púpọ̀. Coco Box wà pẹ̀lú àjẹsẹpọ̀ ìkànnì fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ 32 FM 94.9. Coco Box kòkò owó *347*253#. Òǹgọ̀gọ̀ ni dọ̀ Coco Box.
Golden penny pasta, what's your reason? What's your reason? Oh, everybody gather round. Come and hear the news in town. From the kitchen to my heart, every single body's a thrill. With every bowl I share, I find more reasons.
There are more reasons to love Golden Penny Pasta, enriched with protein and fiber for you and your loved ones. Golden Penny Pasta, great taste, good nutrition.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo. Tifa bá wọlé tọ́ ní fàáfàá Jifa 32 FM, the happiness station, is ready to spread happiness again. Yes, ke? Then don't reach for us to make our listeners smile again. Oh, are you ready? Ṣé ti dúró dédé? Àwùfù bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ don land like traffic light. If true data is life, na if you say recharge card go come with you. If your finger is fast and you are feeling lucky on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, then keep your dial locked on 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn. Nítorí òjò recharge card yóò máa rọ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Ìṣẹ́gun, Ọjọ́rú àti Ọjọ́bọ̀. Ìyẹn ò ní pé every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday time go reach you. Àwùfù bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ go dey ṣẹlẹ̀ on top 32 FM 94.9 by 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m. Congo reach 7 p.m. Lẹ́yìn tó túmọ̀ sí pé láago 8 òwúrọ̀, aago 11 àárọ̀, aago 1 ọ̀sán, aago 5 àti aago 7 àṣálẹ́. If it be red network, if it be green network, it still fit be yellow network. Any which way na way, your own na to stay alert and stay active on 32 FM. Ló bá tán, má gọ̀ọ̀kì ẹ̀ láfàwọ́dá.
You want like Vinny Junior? Èmi tí mo phenomenal gangan.
Orí ìfahun ẹ̀dọ̀ ìdùngbìn òtútù kẹ́yìn mẹ́jà lálẹ́ odò. Èmi fapá ńlá ti gbókò tẹ́lẹ̀ oṣó. Mo ní kí wọ́n ẹ̀fọ́rí yìí kó o bóde mọ̀nà kàyà. Bàbá wo ni gbogbo eléyìí? Ṣàdìsá jáun ni àbígbìn. Àdìsá dìde kó gba Rexall paracetamol yìí járe. Ṣíọ ọmọdé yìí ọmọ oògùn. Oògùn gidi rẹ bàbá. Rexall paracetamol. Ajẹ́bí idán akatakiti oògùn tí ń kojú ẹ̀fọ́rí, ara ríro àbí tó bá fẹ́ ṣe ni bí òtútù. Àdìsá gbé Rexall paracetamol lura kíákíá ni gbogbo ara rẹ yóò jẹ́ tiẹ̀ padà.
Bá mi, èmi ti lọ bá bọ́ọ̀lù o.
Ìlera lóògùn ọrọ̀. Yan Rexall paracetamol láàyò fẹ́ fọ́rí, ara ríro àti bó bá ń ṣe ni bí òtútù. Rexall paracetamol àjẹbí idán. Rexall paracetamol tó wà lólómi fọmọdé. Bára rẹ̀ wá yálẹ̀ yàn ọjọ́ méjì lọ rí dókítà rẹ̀. Rexall paracetamol, iléeṣẹ́ Daily Need Industries ló ṣe.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NANKID 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NANKID 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
And we're back. Thank you for staying with us. Break It On Papers Review, 32 FM 94.9. It's now time for some analysis. And Austin Odumo joins me virtually this morning. Good morning, Austin. Hello, good morning.
Hello, DENIKE. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
All right, let's start off with the insecurity situation. It says here, according to the Punch, that NAS and ex-generals are demanding urgent military rearmament. And the report says that there's deep concern over the fact that the Boko Haram insurgents are better armed than our military, especially now, looking at the situation of things. And they're saying that despite the amount of money, the trillions of naira that have been spent on the security budgets in the last 1 year, it doesn't seem like we're making any headway with the security situation. Also, the House of Reps yesterday, 𝐷𝐿 Akpabio, the Senate President, was speaking, and he was telling them that the patience and resilience of Nigerians are stretching to its limits, and very soon citizens might revolt if they do not address the state of insecurity in the country. I want you to just talk on that.
Yes, I think the government really need to do a lot more. It's not as if there have not been investment in the security sector to boost security in the country, but in recent time we have seen monumental frauds on the issue of funds meant for security purposes. Right from the time of the previous administration, there have always been a case of people diverting the fund meant for security for the purpose of electioneering, for political reason, and what have you. So it is now really the time for the government to up their game. Of course, there is a lot of talk around armament, military weapons, fighter jet, bombs here and there. Of course, we need to have all of that because we have also neglected that over the years. Of course, the last administration did a lot to get some of this armament into the country by way of procurement. But having said all of that, we need enormous political will and cooperation on the part of every citizen to be able to defeat resurgence of insecurity across the country, especially in the northern part of the country. Of course, the case in Benue and Plateau, they are more like communal in nature. Some of these cases in the two states that I've mentioned have been age-long, but there is general spike in insecurity, terrorism, banditry in the northern part of the country, especially along northwest, north central, and resurgence even in Borno of Boko Haram. So the government needs to do more. The political elite must come together to address this issue. I know they know what to do. The political will on the part of the government is missing. Some people are also sympathetic to the cause of these non-state actors, because most of the time we see this when some people want to, when they feel that, they want to weaponize insecurity to change maybe the narrative, to change the government. I don't want us to forget quickly about what happened between 2013, 2014, and that led to the ouster of former President Goodluck Jonathan. It is not as if the insecurity we face today was even the worst in the last 10 years or so. We face worse cases of security scenario, a case study of a movie train that was stopped and people were adopted. That happened sometimes ago. And there were not a lot of talk around the country about it, especially from a section of the country. So by and large, the government needs to do more because security is everything. Security is business, security is economy, security is everything. So government needs to summon the political will, go all out and defeat insecurity. Don't care about what this politician will say, because at times they whip up sentiment to be able to weaken the hand of the government. There are a lot of saboteurs within the rank and file of our military from some section of the country, ensuring that insecurity continue to thrive. So whatever the government has to do, of course, procurement of hard weapon, we need to do that. We also need to deploy technology in terms of adequate intelligence. We have to do that. Look at the issue of Niger moving out of ECOWAS, for example. It's also a major factor. It's a major factor because we used to have the multilateral joint task force before now. But today it is no longer there. Chad is pulling out, Niger is pulling out. So these are other associated factors.
But speaking of technological factor, speaking of technological factor, it seems like Matawale is in China having some kind of military meeting so as to help the country be better in its technological and military defenses.
Yes, it's good to go to China. Matawale itself is also a very controversial figure as far as insecurity in the Northwest is concerned. You know what I mean. I don't want to believe that Matawale is the most appropriate person from that axis to be in charge of security. Personally, I'm not convinced. So Matawale is a controversial figure. We knew his antecedent before now, why he was governor, and when he left office as governor, a lot has happened. There are people that accusing figure have been pointing to about our protracted insecurity situation. That is why I talked about political will. Apart from buying equipment, going to China and what have you, the character of Matawale as some people that are appointed to manage this issue are also controversial that the government need to look into.
Yeah. All right, let's quickly touch on the JAMB situation. There seemed to be some outcry about the mass failure in JAMB. And according to the education minister, who has now responded to the controversy, if I can put it like that, it says the mass failure in JAMB shows that anti-cheating measures are working. Some people are saying that there are a lot of students that cannot score above 200 and more than 78% failed to meet the 200 mark threshold. This is, according to report, the worst we've ever had it in this examination.
Yes, the worst that we have ever had. A lot has really changed. Of course, I know that that agency is deploying technology to prevent malpractices. That is commendable. That is good on one hand. If you are going to a tertiary institution, for example, you must go with what you have, not with makeup papers, cheating and what have you. At the end of the day, we'll eventually produce graduates that does not know their left from their right and they are not employable in terms of skills acquisition and what they can offer. Having said that, I think there is also something that needs to be done about this mass failure. If this is genuine, if this is the true picture, of course, we can make it like a starting point. But like I said, the issue of economy, the issue of hunger, the issue of hardship, there's a way some of these things affect the psyche of the people. But by Allah, let the education ministry, JAMB itself, do a kind of appraisal for itself and look at it.
But Austin, do you think that JAMB has outlived its usefulness? Because some of these schools can conduct their own examinations. If you understand what I mean, there's something called post-UTME. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but you have post-UTME and there's an exam that the school can conduct to screen out students like this. So do you think that we still have, the effectiveness of JAMB is still some, because you cannot use your certificate for the result from JAMB. Every year you have to rewrite. Even there are students who maybe they passed JAMB and they flopped at post-UTME and they didn't get admission and they come back to write JAMB again. So do you think that is something that we should look at in another way?
Yes, it is really something we need to look at. That is why I think the education ministry, JAMB and other associated agency, we have to sit together, even with the university, with the tertiary institute, have to sit together. Let's appraise the situation. For the period of that review, have we been able to get results? Because like you just said, there was a time I expressed this reservation. You will go and write JAMB, which is the central governing body for the exam. You go and write JAMB, and that does not guarantee you admission to the university. We have seen students who score very high in JAMB, and at the end of the day, they could not pass through post-UTME. Because most of the time, post-UTME, the school now reserve the right to change some name and do some manipulation, except in rare cases that merit will prevail. So all of these things, stakeholders within the education sector, if there is a particular program or initiative that we have used over the year that is no longer producing the result, we may not totally scrap it. We can look at the issues and reinvigorate the system and make it more transparent and make it more efficient, because the purpose of it, JAMB is not a revenue generating agency. I think there is the notion out there that JAMB must necessarily now remit money to the government coffers as if they are giving target. So we have to look at that. It is not about revenue. It's about a central examination conducting body and interface between the post-secondary school, termination of post-secondary school, and entering into the higher institution. So we must get it right. It's like a recruitment process. You have to get it right appropriately at that level. So let's appraise the situation. If there are gray areas that we need to look at, let's do them. I think the purpose of post-UTME and JAMB itself, and the schools are also saying that somebody might pass JAMB and at the end of the day might not do well, even in the university or in tertiary institution. So they have to look for a way to conduct their own exam body. So which means that these students are faced with several challenges, ranging from academic, psychological, and what have you. So we have to look at it properly and situate it vis-a-vis the best interest for our children.
All right, I want us to quickly touch on the oil price that is floating. There's something about it being around $60 per barrel yesterday and how this can affect the economy, this can affect the FX flow, and the fact that we put our benchmark at $75 per barrel, and it seems now that we might be, there might be a bit of shake due to, the fluctuating prices across the globe.
Yes, I think it's a major problem for us. It's a very big problem today in Nigeria, because if you have a benchmark that is $75 per barrel, and we are now having the crude falling to below $60 per barrel, there's going to be a huge deficit for the government to contend with. So government has to look for resources or revenue from other sources, especially non-oil revenue. Well, it's always a clarion call for us as a people that oil is also gradually outliving its usefulness. So we have to talk about alternate means of revenue generation. After all, there are countries who do not even have oil, and they are thriving. There are some countries that thrive majorly on tourism, and they are doing fantastically well. We have other mineral resources. We have other things that we can leverage on. Let's look inward and harness our areas of comparative advantage in terms of production. For example, if you produce yam in Nigeria, you cannot export from Nigeria except to take them to Ghana. Does that make any sense, for example?
Does this affect the purchasing power, this oil situation? Does it change things in terms of, would our money be buying lesser than it's already buying now?
I think for government, it means reduce revenue. But for the people, anytime crude price comes down, it's an advantage for the people. Because in a heavily imported petroleum product economy, prices have to also come down. So it's not as if it's going to affect the ordinary citizen, so to say, maybe in the interim, but government is losing money. If government loses money, it means that government may not be able to meet up with their obligation as put together in their budget. So that is basically what it means. So government is losing money, but the truth of the matter is that an average Nigerian will ask you, when government is making this money, does an average Nigerian really benefit when government is buoyant between when? It is only when government does not have money that the people further suffer. When government had money, it is only the people in government, the elite, the bureaucrats that enjoy some of these things. So we must structure our economy in such a way that the positive effect of policies and programs, we have to reflect on the people, not audio performance, but performance that will affect positively the life of the people. There's no way my life will be affected positively or negatively that I will not know. It is not the business of government to say that my life is affected positively.
Yes,
I
we have
should
to
be
go on
able
a
to
break.
come out to say that my life is affected positively.
All right. We'll be back shortly. Do stay with us. We have to go on a break now. The Break It Down Papers Review on your laughter station, 32 FM 94.9.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Is that Alfie playing football in the rain?
It's 𝐃𝐈𝐒.
My goodness. When did he grow up? That's it with kids, so.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development with the new 𝐷𝐿 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. 𝐷𝐿 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Congratulations, you have won 10,000 naira on the Cocoa Box raffle. You too can be a winner on the Cocoa Box raffle. Pick up your phone and dial *347*253# for 200 naira only. Follow the prompt. The bank is Space Stack Titan. And stay tuned for the live raffle on Isheya at 9:30 a.m. Call and win game show 2 p.m. 𝐾𝐈𝐒 3 p.m. 𝐒𝐍𝐒 5 p.m. and WhatsApp Niger 6 p.m. 2 winners will be picked on each show. The more you play, the more your chances of winning. Cocoa Box is in partnership with 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan.
Kí ló ń sún ọpọ́n ìrẹsì jọ̀lọ́ọ̀fù lọ sípele ìgbádùn tó ga? Ṣé tí wọ́n bá sè é pẹ̀lú kóró náà fún adùn tó kà màmá yẹn ni? Tàbí tẹ́ bá jẹ́ pẹ̀lú ojúlówó sàláàdì Nàìjíríà, èso kábéèjì, kárọ̀tì, lẹ́tùsì, àtẹ̀wà oníkíndìnrín díẹ̀.
Ó ní láti jẹ́ méjèèjì. Ṣe jollof rice rẹ pẹ̀lú adùn kóró náà kí o wá jẹ́ pẹ̀lú ọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀fọ́. Ó yá, jẹ́ kí ọ̀pọ̀ oúnjẹ rẹ gbé pẹ́ẹ́lí. Lónìí, jẹun tó dáa.
Tífà bá wọlé tọ́ ní fàáfàá jífà. 32 FM, the happiness station, is ready to spread happiness again. Yes, then don't reach for us to make our listeners smile again. Oh, are you ready? Ṣé ti dúró dédé? Àwùfù bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ don land like traffic light. If true, data is life. Na if you say recharge card go come you wait you. If your finger is fast and you are feeling lucky on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, then keep your dial locked on 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn. Nítorí òjò recharge card yóò máa rọ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Ìṣẹ́gun, Ọjọ́rú àti Ọjọ́bọ̀. Ìyẹn ni pé every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday time go reach o. Àwùfù bẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ go dey ṣẹlẹ̀ on top 32 FM 94.9 by 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m. Congo reach 7 p.m. Lẹ́yìn tó túmọ̀ sí pé láago 8 òwúrọ̀, aago 11 àárọ̀, aago 1 ọ̀sán, aago 5 àti aago 7 àṣálẹ́. If it be red network, if it be green network, it still fit be yellow network. Any which way na way, your own na to stay alert and stay active on 32 FM. Ló bá tán, má gọ̀ọ̀kì ẹ̀ láfàwọ́dá.
You want life in the junior. Èmi tí mo phenomenal gangan.
Kò bá jẹ́ 24, 29 tàbí 32 ṣáà ti fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kàn tẹ 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀.
Every day when my children return from school, I don't recognize them. Hello, do I know you?
It's us, mommy.
But these dirty, sweaty uniforms and socks were clean in the morning. Everything don't transform. I understand though. School is hectic. It takes energy to come home this transformed. So I make sure they have some nutritious Milo at breakfast.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Happiness is a choice that we want you to make always. Choose to be happy. Choose 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan. All right, and we're back. Thank you for staying with us. It's now time for the opening of the phone lines and text messages and also Facebook. You can call the number 0705 50949 as well as 0906 200949. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, DENIKE.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Austin. Well done to both of you this morning. My name is Tony Brown.
Thank you.
Austin, you said something this morning, and I'm glad you said it. There are countries that had no oil, and they are faring very well. What is this oil? What is in it for this oil for us as Nigerians? I don't know, because this oil has caused is even more of a cause. It is this oil that all the bourgeois, all the big men, political jargon, they are the one enjoying, and in fact, oil caused corruption in this country. Oil, when there was no oil boom, this country was surviving very well. So if you ask me, I don't think we should be talking about oil, because I don't see the masses, the benefit the masses has as far as oil is concerned. People just look at the kind of fraud and corruption that has saddled the management of oil in Nigeria. Anyway, for JAM, I'm thinking that JAM they allow universities to organize the exams, pick out their students, and stop this issue of JAM. There are some other countries do not decentralize. This centralized system that's our problem. The centralized system of management is our problem. Let us allow universities to organize the exams, take their students, and any student that cannot go into university can learn something else. And finally, Matawale is not supposed to be the man in charge of defense in this country. Matawale is out of, and that is what is causing the problem. Immediately, Matawale was appointed as a minister for this thing, the resurgence of, because I've been sympathetic with them. The stories were there. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir, for calling. The number to call 0906 2000 949. You can also try the number 0809 7000 949. Also, I have a comment here. Boluwatfe Ademijuwon says, good morning. The recent defections in political parties, particularly the PDP, raises concern. A strong opposition is crucial to effectively check the current administration. I urge opposition parties to put aside their differences and collaborate towards a common goal of delivering better governance for Nigerians. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, that platform.
Good morning.
I'm greeting you, Demo. I'm so actually Uncle Woman. DENIKE Demo. I'm going to call you. It's my name. You see, my perspective has no confusion, and it is not doubt at all. What are we saying this morning? Yeah, the R&D killings. I call it political killings. The R&D now. 2027 election behind it. You see, with the electioneering, everything is cool and calm. And after election, that's supposed to be enjoy dividends of democracy, good governance. You see, the killings, the security, here and this another continuer. 2027 is behind it. And as a matter of fact, I also Dimu earlier said that GAP is not the board of internet, one of the institutions that federal government will regard as IGR, internal generated organization. But I must tell you this morning that GAP is powerful internal generated revenue to this particular federal government. I don't know how this GAP, they will say they remitted certain amount of money, millions, to the federal government. Education, education, health and agriculture. Government must not expect any income from that particular place because that is the source of our dividends. That is the source of our good governance. We are not expecting to be remitted any amount. It's where government be investing too. That will be the sum of our dividends and good governance. I can't finish the perspective. Is my name. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you so much. 0906 2000 949. You can also try 0809 7000 949. We'll pick another call. Hello, good morning.
DENIKE, good morning. Austin, good morning. This is okay. On the issue of JAM, I actually think there are things we need to understand. You know, we like copying. We want to be like UK. We want to be like America. In UK, they have what they call UCAS. It's like a centralized body. But the problem we have with JAM is they're trying to be a money generating this thing for government. Now for the admission, DENIKE, go and verify this. For the past 5 years, the cutoff had been 180, not 200. It's only the big five that asks for 20. That is where we still have problem. Last year, I think it was like 160. Why will the students not keep failing? There is no need to strive. If I know the school will give me 160 to gain admission. There are a lot of other factors. And remember, what we are stressing on the 200 is only for merit. Austin, there is educational less developed state whereby you even get 100, they give you admission. All these ploys are what is affecting our education. We need to rectify a lot of things. Good morning, this is okay.
Thank you. 0906 2000 949. Solomon Sheriff says, good morning and kudos to everyone in the studio. Ex-generals who stole armed funds. What is government doing about them? Where are those Tucano jets and ammunition bought during ex-President Buhari regime? Despite budgetary allocations to the defense and security sectors, security has steadily but yet to feel the impact. No country succeeds except with peace and security. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, I'm John News on Joko. Thank you. Thank you, Austin. I want to talk about the activities of Boko Haram. If an army general engages in open confrontation without seeking a way to dialogue, it will weigh him down. Former president to retire the army general found it difficult to dismantle the activities of Boko Haram, a position he had comparative advantage. Then, if go can go rough in what happened to Iron, The release of 21 Chibok girls October 21, 2016 on their rebirth was as a result of dialogue as confirmed by Buhari himself somewhere in Germany. Matawali has told the nation the number of terrorists neutralized, but he has failed woefully to tell Nigerians how many innocent Nigerians were neutralized by this bandit. The question is how many years have we been fighting this war? And according to Bob Marley, when will it end? John Njoku is my name.
Thank you. Miriam Yetune says, good morning. Nigerians are undoubtedly facing significant challenges under the current administration, with rising poverty levels being a major concern. It's concerning that the federal government seems not to be taking adequate measures to address these issues. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please turn down the volume on your radio. Please turn down the volume. All right.
The issue of, I want to talk about the issue of jam. The issue of jam, I'm Joseph from Challenge. They are children. I always tell my own children, you have the whole world in your hand because they have this phone. This phone, you can Google any person and he'll give it to you. But instead of doing that, it will be exploring the phone for other things. All this opportunity, we don't have it. We don't know something. We don't know it. Because you are even afraid of the letter to go and meet them. But now, they have all this opportunity. But they are with 24 with phone, 247, not using it for their own advantage. And that is part of it. Again, the JAMB authority too, they will make the exam, because you see these children on the exam day, they'll be running around, run before you go, they are tired. So the fault is from both. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll just wrap up some of the comments. Tolu Akademi says, good morning. We truly hope the president will have the political will to walk his talks on curbing the menace of insecurity, because the rate of insecurity keeps increasing and has degenerated to the extent that it has put the country on a standstill where nothing seems to be working again, which calls for urgent concern by the federal government. Mary Amitune says, good morning. Nigerians are undoubtedly... All right, I think I've taken this comment. Boluwatife Ademijuwon says, good morning. The recent defection in political parties, I'm not sure, but it seems like I've also taken that particular comment. All right, thank you so much for being a part of the show this morning. Thank you for staying with us. It returns tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. to 7:15. Austin, thank you so much for your analysis. We really appreciate you. It's time for us to go. My name is DENIKE Ademuwagun. Coming up next is the Smart Kids Show.
Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the program that has covered in 15 right on 32 FM 94.9. What a night it was in the UEFA Champions League. We talk about the game that went down there at the San Siro Stadium between INT'L Milan and FC Barcelona. Well, remember that the first leg ended 3-3 at the makeshift home of FC Barcelona. But yesterday it was 4-3 after extra time. But then I will tell you that in the first leg we had an early goal, and in the second leg it was all about the late goal. Scored by 𝐃𝐈𝐒. Well, at the age of 37, this man has scored his first European goal yesterday. And of course, a lot of people questioned why he took off his jersey. Well, I'll tell you that this man in his 20 years of active service, well, he has been through a lot, and he survived cancer also during the course of his 20-year playing career. And so you talk about the veteran defender who definitely has every reason to take off his jersey. And of course, that didn't hamper that progression of his club side and reaching the finals of this year's UEFA Champions League, set to go down there in Munich on the 31st of this month. And I tell you that 32 FM, well, just as you know, since inception, we've always been having that football watch party, the great football watch party, which is about the UEFA Champions League. Well, the venue for this year's edition definitely is going down there at the same venue. That's the race course at Damasigba. That's on the 31st of this month. But definitely, we are here to talk about the UEFA Champions League. All the headlines are from the round of games that was played yesterday. Before we take on that Arsenal against the Paris Saint-Germain day at the Parc des Princes later today. Well, outside of football story, also we have an update from the world of basketball. We had the Indiana Pacers they take a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference semi-finals, and the GSWs, that's talking about the Golden State Warriors, they secured a game one win that's in the Western Conference. And of course, in the first time in the NBA history, all four teams on the road, they won a game one of that their conference. Well, you know, you are listening to the voice of Oluwatimila and Sami Sogidi on the program this lovely morning. And of course, we are yet to talk about sport and stories. Well, the UEFA Champions League tops the list of what we want to discuss this lovely morning. 4 goals to 3. Who were the goal scorers yesterday? You tell that for FC Barcelona, Rafinha, well, he is a level on par with Cristiano Ronaldo, having 21 goal involvement that's in the UEFA Champions League football season. Remember, for Cristiano Ronaldo, he had that in the 2013-14 season, and now for Rafinha, well, unfortunately, he is not going to surpass that record, but rather he equaled it as he thought he won FC Barcelona the game yesterday. Talk about the link up from the defenders also from FC Barcelona, which definitely was a good one for the Catalan Giants. But I'll tell you that the Blaugrana, well, they were unable to hold the agreed yesterday. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Of course, that's about the inexperience in which FC Barcelona defenders, well, they possessed yesterday. Well, if you ask me what I mean by you live by the sword or you die by the sword, maybe we will come later in the afternoon by 3:30 Scoreboard Reloaded. I would explain more about that when myself and Peter, we definitely come here to discuss more about the UEFA Champions League games that went down yesterday, and also the word that we expect later today. But then before we go further, let's take a listen to the words of Frenkie de Jong, the man who captained the side onto the field yesterday, while speaking about the level of results in which FC Barcelona had yesterday, saying it's a bit of an empty feeling at the moment. Remember, for FC Barcelona, they had the dreams of winning the quadruple. They've won 2 titles. They are in contention to win the league and as well the UEFA Champions League, which definitely was out of reach for them yesterday. Let's take a listen to the words of Frenkie de Jong.
I think we made a good comeback, like we've done many times this season. And then to concede, when you score like 2 minutes before full time and then in extra time they score again against you, it's difficult to take.
Let me take you to a bit of a happy moment. At halftime, what did you talk about? And of course, you came back so much better in the second half. What did you talk about?
No, we just had to keep playing the way we played, because I think the first half we played good. Maybe we didn't score or we didn't have the chance we had the second half, but I think also the first half we had maybe a bit. We played better than them. I think we dominated, but they are very good in what they do. So all the credits to them also. But we just had to keep playing the way we did. And sorry, I was looking at the chance of us. We had to keep playing the way we did, and we did that. Then we came back. We even came in front, and then to give it away in the last minute of extra time. I don't know if it was the last minute, but it feels really, really bitter.
Today, listen to the words of Frenkie de Jong saying it's really bitter losing that game yesterday. But then you say that you talk about another man who definitely was the hero in all of the goals scored by that Inter Milan. And 7 goals scored by Inter Milan across both legs. He was involved in 5 goals. You talk about Denzel Dumfries, 2 goals and 3 assists for himself in over 2 legs. 13 goals in the semi-finals. But I ask you, where do you rank or where do you rate this semi-final encounter between these two sides that went down yesterday? Well, definitely, you know that it has to be one of the greatest UEFA Champions League semi-final games that went down, that has gone down there in history. But then we move away from that where we join our partners now, the BBC, to take a listen to more they have for us, especially at the game set to go down later tonight between Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal Football Club, the BBC Premier League update.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Sayers at the BBC Sports Centre. Arsenal face Paris Saint-Germain in the second leg of their Champions League semi-final in the French capital on Wednesday evening, trailing 1-0 from the first leg at the Emirates Stadium a week ago. The Gunners' manager Mikel Arteta says he has challenged his players to make their own history.
We have a big opportunity tomorrow. We bring a result that gives us so much clarity about what we have to do. A lot of learnings from the first leg as well, and how small the margins are between the two teams. The result, in my opinion, should have been very different to that one. So tomorrow, another opportunity to prove that and earn the right to be in the final.
Meanwhile, the Arsenal midfielder Declan Rice says they have faith they can turn the tie around.
We can go out there and we can achieve something great for this club, and that's what we want to do. You know, we obviously know we're 1-0 down, but we have full belief, full positivity that we're going to go out there and win tomorrow night.
The Spanish football journalist 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿 says that Trent Alexander-Arnold will be an important player for Real Madrid next season, even if he isn't guaranteed a starting place from the outset.
Top players just work well anyway. Now, it's an interesting situation because Carvajal will come back from injury, and in my eyes, he was the best right back in the world, ahead of Trent. But there is no fear from anyone. One of the things that you get when you sign for Real Madrid is the confirmation that mentally you're strong. He will make himself important to Real Madrid. Again, I don't think there's any doubt on that.
The England fullback confirmed earlier this week that he would leave his childhood club at the end of the season. Alexander-Arnold won the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup and the UEFA Super Cup and FIFA Club World Cup during his time at Anfield. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, there you listen to the BBC Premier League update. Words from Mikel Arteta and Declan Rice daring to go so hard later tonight. They are at the Park of the Princes. All right, we move away from the UEFA Champions League and talk about a bit of Nigerian sporting stories where the Nigeria Premier Football League game set to go down later today. You know, we have a champion in the Nigeria Premier Football League, and that's Remo Stars. They'll be up against El Kanami Warriors away from home later today. Lobby Stars will be up against Nasarawa United. Niger Tornadoes against Abia Warriors. Rivers United against Enugu Rangers. Bendel Insurance against Oka United. Shooting Stars at home will be up against Sunshine Stars. Remember, the Sunshine Stars was their first away victory this season, defeating them there in Kenya by a goal to nil. And then they talk about Katsina United also played against the Kano Pillars, and Eyimba would be up against the Kwara United. Same as Atlant against the Plateau, Ikorodu City against the Bayelsa United, all in the Nigeria Premier Football League. But Davinson Owumi, talking about that's Davinson Owumi, the president or the chairman of the chief operating officer of the Nigeria Premier Football League. Well, they said that preparations are at advanced stage to organize an outstanding and colorful trophy presentation ceremony for the recently emerged champions. That's Remo Stars in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Still talking about Nigerian sports and stories for the Flying Eagles under Aliyu Zubairu. Well, they'll be in action later today, and of course they'll be playing against Kenya. The Flying Eagles team led by head coach Aliyu Zubairu take on the Junior Harambee Stars of Kenya in their final group game of the ongoing Under-20 African Cup of Nations there in Egypt. And the Flying Eagles of Nigeria, remember, they defeated the Junior Carthage Eagles of Tunisia 1-0 in the opening game of the 2025 Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations. And then in their second game against Morocco, who are table toppers, they drew 0-0. And then you tell about the game set to go there today. Victory for the Flying Eagles definitely will put us in the quarterfinals of this year's edition of that's the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations, where the Flying Eagles definitely are daring to go. That's their 8th title, and as well qualify for the FIFA Men's World Cup. Talking about the Under-20 FIFA Men's World Cup there in Chile. Well, all right, talking about a bit of basketball stories now from the games that went down in the early hours of today. Remember, I told you that this is the first time in the history of the NBA that all teams on the road won their game one. Won one game on the road. And I tell you that from the games that went down just in the early hours of today, the Golden State Warriors defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 99-88. The Indiana Pacers defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 120-119. The Denver Nuggets also got the better of the Oklahoma City Thunders 121-119. Well, definitely for that, the Indiana Pacers, they are the one who owed a 2-0 lead That's in the best of 7 series. That's in the semi-finals. But this is how far we can go on today's edition of the program, right here at 32 FM 94.9. We'll be back later by 3:30 to definitely reload every update from the exciting world of sports. I am Sam, your sports captain. Till we meet later in the afternoon. Do enjoy the rest of the day and bye for now.
32 FM.